for the Plan Commission for the City of Hudson, August 2nd, 2022. If I could have a roll call, please.
Fred Yorg,
Is here.
Pat Casanova,
Here.
Maria Cobrad, absent. Mayor Rich O'Connor's absent. Randy Morissette,
Here.
and Susie Coram. Here.
All right, number 3, consideration of the minutes.
Roger Riddell.
Oh, sorry, Roger, I knew you were here.
Right. Blend in with the.
Casper the Ghost, yes.
Is roll call complete?
Yes, we have a quorum tonight.
Number 3, consideration of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. If the Plan Commission will indulge me, I would like to move the Dairy Queen ahead of the public hearing, and which is item
Last item.
6B. So Justin, if you would take the podium, and when we ask you, state your name and your address for the record, but Tiffany is starting.
So tonight, we have in front of us a design review certificate for Dairy Queen to alter the facade of their building due to some storm damage that was received earlier this year. They're going to be changing the roof line to be a little more flat and modern looking. They're also changing the color style of paint to be a little more dark toned. If I missed anything, Justin, feel free to.
That's about it.
Okay. So yeah, with that, staff does recommend approval of the design review certificate.
Go ahead and state your name and address for the.
Oh, Justin Reichel, 910 St. Croix Street North.
There's nothing really out of the ordinary, as this is a franchise, somewhat of a franchise deal too, to change the facade and whatnot.
Yeah, it's, the red was damaged in the hail, and according to the downtown overlay rules, it can't be replaced with red. So I have to go to the next current Dairy Queen standard, and the red roof is like 4 standards back, so
Excellent.
they're happy, but.
Any questions for Justin?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
With any stipulations that the city has.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Justin.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
And if the Plan Commission would so choose to, as well, as to have the Hudson physicians under new business as well, 6A, if we could move that in front as well. Sure. Okay. Tiffany.
So Hudson Physicians has submitted concept development plans for their development of St. Croix County Tax Parcel 236-2079-00200. The lot is approximately 2.44 acres in size and is located to the southeast of the Hudson Medical Office Building, currently under construction. The applicant is proposing to construct a 1-story professional medical office facility that will be 10,000 square feet in size. The purpose of the development is to provide additional outpatient services to the Hudson community. The site improvements do include 1 retention pond, driveway and parking lot connections to the Lot 1 medical office building site, 123 parking stalls, including 5 ADA accessible stalls, and landscaping proposals of various trees, shrubs, and grasses. The building facade would also be proposed to be complementary to the existing development going under construction at this time, so it would match the medical office building.
That is the parcel that is abutting the residential parts of it where we had all the concern earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we have representatives here from Hudson Physicians? If you would join us at the podium, state your name and your address for the record as well, and if we have questions, now's the time to ask the Hudson Physicians.
Sure. I'm Matt Brandt. I'm the CEO of Hudson Physicians. We're over at 403 Stage Line Road.
Have you had, I mean, I know you had neighborhood meetings and all that kind of stuff, and I've seen your proposed, what you're gonna do with trees and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is that adequate, and the neighbors are all okay with that, and that will screen the property sufficiently so you're not there? in
Yeah,
there
I don't know if you-
or as best as possible. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realize you have to be practical here, but.
Well, the good news from the east would be the retaining wall is tall enough where actually the trees on top you can't see. You won't even be able to see this building from those houses over there, because the way you look up you can't see. It would be to the neighbors to the south that are in the kind of, there's 5 people to the south, but there's lots of trees that are naturally there between us and them at this point. So
And they're gonna stay there, or they're just there now?
they're on their property, not ours. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Have we sent out notice of this one to the neighbors?
No,
Okay, because it does not meet that requirement, 300.
correct, yep.
Normally, we send it out of a 300 feet requirement, so there was no notice given. But I'm assuming after the first time you came for the other building, that you're well aware that those citizens up there would like the protection of the berming and the trees and,
Yeah, and like I just mentioned, the where that's proposed is you can't really see it from their property anymore. So
Can we
the way
leave
that the way the stuff's
Can we
constructed.
leave the door open a little bit, that if we hear anything or anything comes up?
Yeah, they can call me directly, or we've been
Call you up
working
or
with
do
them
whatever
directly.
to
Yeah. So
Amend it?
yes, absolutely. So
I'd make that part of the thing, and I'll move to approve
is there any other further discussion?
with all other stipulations, though, but adding that remark.
That's a 6th condition then.
Yes, as a condition.
Sounds good.
sounds good to me.
Anything else to add?
No, it's a great thing. The building is getting full. We need some more space. So
Very well. It's a good problem, I
Yeah.
guess, eh?
so
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries, thank you. We
Thank you.
recommend the council. All right, back to the agenda as posted. We will go to number 4. And again, we do have a Zoom link. If there's anybody on Zoom, please raise your hand or chime in so Tiffany can see that you are asking to be heard on the issue of the public hearing, which is for the Master Bike Ped Plan PC issue. Is there anybody online who would like to speak?
There is no Zoom audio right now.
Okay.
Brian's working on getting
We are
that.
in technical difficulty. Is there anybody in the audience here for the public hearing for the bike master plan? Is anybody in the audience here that want to speak to the bike plan?
More time, one more time.
I know. Again, is there anybody here in the public live that wants to speak to the master bike plan? Seeing none, I will ask again on Zoom, is there anybody on Zoom that is here for the public hearing for the master bike plan for the city of Hudson? Raise your hand or chime in.
We have a few people online, but I haven't seen any raised hands yet.
I will move to close if we're not getting any response.
Let me ask 2 more times for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you had to do it twice on that.
Just cover the bases.
No, that's fine.
Anybody on Zoom want to address the public hearing for the master bike plan? And once again, anybody on Zoom here to address the master bike plan for the city of Hudson? No feedback.
I
Okay.
move, we close the public hearing.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. So moving right into number B, discussion possible action on the 2022 City of Hudson's Master Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan. Tiffany.
Yes. All right, so this is a long time coming. This has been in the process actually for about 3.5, maybe 4 years now. City staff's been working really closely with the Bike Ped Advisory Committee on getting this to the point where it's finally able to be brought forward to you all. So we're super excited to be at this point. With that, I will note that similar to the comprehensive plan that you all are probably aware of, this document is meant to serve as a guiding document for the city as far as bicycle pedestrian needs in the future and now. So therefore, we also recommend in the plan that it's meant to be updated every 5 years just to keep pace with our continuous growth that we've been seeing over the years. With that,
Is it tied to the master plan or no?
it is
Okay,
very closely.
You
I'll
mean-
actually, I'll get to
I
that.
mean, the comprehensive plan.
that's, excuse me,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, thank
Yep.
you.
See if I can pull up presentation here. Perfect, it does work. Does your screen work there,
No,
Fred?
nothing's on.
You guys have your screens on?
We're good.
I should have had these.
Luddites. We're Luddites. Move to approve?
Okay. There is a motion.
And
to
I'll
approve.
second it with the conditions that they want that, whatever that numerical ranking system is, or
Yeah, actually, that was
whatever that is,
something,
but yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
that was something the Bike Ped Advisory Committee discussed at their meeting last week on Tuesday.
But I want to make a couple comments, because I listened to the commission meeting last week, and it was talking about redoing Third Street up here, right here. And some people wanted that widened out for bike paths and different things like that. And I'm thinking, if the people knew the history of that road and how that was built, especially between the Keys and the Carmelites, you're overlooking a 150-foot ravine that's basically a straight drop-off. And then the sheer cliff that's on, to try to widen a road like that for use doesn't make any sense, public sense, safety sense, cost sense, or anything. And the city's gonna have to come out with a system to designate certain streets as the bike paths and not every one. And I don't know if they're thinking that way or looking ahead that way, but they should. Because I think, Randy, you're in concurrence with that the Third Street, that's just not set up for that.
Right. It's not, and so it's been moved and seconded, and we're in discussion, and maybe Tiffany, you can go to those identified roads in this as an executive summary, not just for us, but for the general public. I don't want to go through this too fast, because this is a pretty good document. I mean, this is the PDF file. It's a good read.
Well, the only other thing I want to do is, there's been some individuals in town that have worked on this tremendously hard, Mark Garrity
Yeah.
and others, that we need to thank for all their time and effort. And I know that he's been able to do some things that, because of his acquaintances and things like that, have been to the benefit of the city, and for that, we owe him our sincere thank you, and it needs to be said to him.
Yeah, great. But let's go through some of and identified, kind of the executive summary of the streets.
Yeah,
Does that make sense to you?
do you mean like just the network recommendations table? Yeah, we could do that.
I just want to give a sense to the general public what this document is all entails. And I don't know, Joy or Sarah, you have any comments that you want to address, but feel free to let me know.
There's a lot of recommendations in here, I'm sorry.
Well, I read it, and yeah, you get overwhelmed. You do.
My biggest thing with the whole thing, obviously, is safety and making sure we can accommodate pedestrian and bike traffic safely on our roads, and then vice versa, that I just witnessed a biker just blow through Summer and 11th Street, no stopping, and I know they're supposed to use the signs as well, but as well as the bikers and pedestrians, our vehicles need to be safe and observant as well.
Well, they think they're cars at times. You go down the Cooley Road, and that's where you really see it.
Right. So Tiffany, go ahead and outline some of that.
So in the Bike Ped Master Plan, we've kind of outlined and defined some network recommendations based on public feedback that was received through our public outreach initiatives, all the surveys, the pop-up booths, mapping exercises, things like that. And the results are the consensus is people want better connections to schools, parks, and other public facilities. As far as Third Street goes, there was no requests made for that. If this is the area here you're talking about, along
It
the
is.
I
bluff.
see that, yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing put in the plan regarding that
Good.
specifically, just because, as you outlined, Fred,
Good.
we have concerns ourselves about falling rocks, the financial means to be able to widen that pathway.
And it's just dangerous already as it is.
Right, right, even you can't even walk it, I mean, safely, because there's no sidewalk. So, I mean, how in the world could you do the rest of that? I mean, a sidewalk would come before that.
Right. We couldn't without significant widening of that, and
Oh,
it
you
is
can't.
cost prohibitive at this point.
Yeah, it's a sheer cliff.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I say they shouldn't even consider stuff on certain routes, because it's just, you're wasting time and money.
Yeah. And it is, that's how it is labeled right now.
Okay, good.
Yep, so, I guess in line with all the rest of these requests, they vary between new connections being made, widening of existing pathways, for example, the 11th Street Bridge, so widening.
Can you address that at all? Was this document molded around our discussion on what we're doing to the bridge? Will it accommodate bikers and pedestrians safely?
We don't go into defining what the design of it would overall look like. We just recommend that it definitely be
Okay.
addressed.
Yeah. And I think we are, and we will as we
How
get
come Vine
closer.
Street's not on there? I mean, that really confuses me. That's the old main drag up to the school. And that's a natural path, it's where the stop and go lights are from the river.
Is there anybody here from the bike committee? Pat, were you on that at all?
You would-
wasn't.
You would think that would be on there. I'm surprised it's not. And I think the road was rebuilt with that in mind, too. Am I correct on that, Randy?
Yeah, because yeah,
Wasn't that a consideration, but instead they put the parking lane in versus the bike path or bike lane?
Yes, absolutely.
I do have one question based on what Fred said there. He said we have streets marked as designated bike paths or whatever. And I've seen the signs, I don't know if they're in Hudson or other cities, but what's the difference between that, you put up the sign, what does that sign buy you as a biker? I mean, it's just not, you've done nothing to the street, or it doesn't look like you've done anything to the street. You put up a sign, that's not buying the biker anything, is it?
no, I don't think any sign dealing with it on public safety, I don't think any sign is any guarantee.
Correct. So I'm just curious as to if you make a street a bike path versus just leaving it as is, just a residential street, what's the difference?
Very good question. I mean, you're just promoting the fact to put bikers out there, safe or unsafe.
I bike,
Is
and
that what you
I
kinda-
don't, I bike around and I don't look for the signs or not. I think the streets in Hudson are generally safe. There's a few places that are a little sketchy, but it's just because of traffic and trying to make left turns and busy streets and so forth, but.
Oh, good point. Your good point. It's just, I mean, how do you address it?
You can't regulate, I mean, signs are not meant to be
Right.
anything.
And I hate to see the city go overboard and make a bunch of bike lanes and that. I think St. Paul has done that, and it's just turned into a
Yeah.
mess, and I think,
What do you think of this overall? I mean, because I know in what, was it South or North Minneapolis, they were gonna put the bus lane into bike, you know what I'm
right?
talking?
Yes, right, they have like a bike lane,
Green
then a
lane,
parking lane, and then,
bus lane, and-
right, I think on Lindale or on Hennepin, in Uptown area, they have
Yeah.
that, and it's
It's a mess.
confusing, right?
So what do you think of this one then?
I looked at I skimmed through the plan, I didn't read it word for word, the 200 and some pages, but I liked what I saw. I mean, like Fred said, they put a lot of research into this, so, what I saw, I liked.
Okay.
There's just some areas that, like I said, for instance, if you go up Cooley Hill and you want to make a left turn onto 11th Street, that's a dangerous area to go through. You have generally heavy traffic coming up, and it's just a few areas like that, but that's,
This would be a living document, would it not? That, I mean, subject to changes as time goes on and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, we don't have to put anything in concrete here. It's just, is it a good idea, I guess? I mean, is that the way we should view this? And yeah.
It's a good, strong foundation for us, but we do have hot spots that we have to
Right, well, I
address
understand that.
as we go forward with it.
I'd like to see more education with young kids on proper bike rules. And oftentimes I'll see kids biking the wrong side of the street. So they're, like, you're driving this lane, they're biking at you, which is not correct. They should be going with the flow of traffic, and and I don't think they know better. I would like to see that improve just from a safety perspective.
And that is a program recommendation actually in the plan that we specified, because yeah, education is a big part of this that I think people tend to not put a whole lot of importance into, but they forget about it. But it really is, it helps kind of outline, I guess, all the like the routes that we do have, because there is some feedback too that we would receive where people said they didn't even know some of these pathways exist. So then that in line with, well, are they using them properly? That kind of lies a solid foundation of making sure that they're using it properly and in a safe manner so that they feel safe and more incentivized to use it.
And it definitely is those points throughout this report where we need to have buttons on our website and in a marketing campaign on how we have these trails or connections and the loops, and then how the safety would play into that, and the rules and regulations bikes have to adhere to, and as much as our driving public as
I
well.
don't know if that's still a thing, but I know that when I was young, and I don't know if you had this as well, but the police would come into our school every year and go through, these are bike rules, and they give you your little bike license, and, it was just to make you feel official, and, all of those things, but it was good, it, made an impact, I think, and I don't know if that is something that occurs at all. I have no idea, but I think it would be a good idea.
It's a good question.
Yeah,
for the
because
public.
you've got an audience there, and what a great thing to have that connection being made.
For sure. Any other further questions or anything that you guys have to delve in, if Tiffany can go to it, or any questions you may have, any audience members? Yes, ma'am. If you could come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. That's the unfortunate part.
Margie Brown, 1315 St. Croix Heights. I'm just a little more interested in the sidewalks, especially by the high school. I walk my dog there and it's not very safe. So I'm just wondering, and Chestnut Drive, that whole area.
Sure.
So that's, if there's a place in the plan that I can go and look.
I don't believe it is in this plan, but in the comprehensive plan, I believe we have it as far as adding and developing walking paths around some of those particular areas. I know EP Rock around the school there and some other spots. There is a plan.
Okay.
The Safe Routes to School plan in particular as well, that explains additional safer walkways in the future.
So are you saying you're not safe with the bikers on the sidewalks?
The cars. There's no sidewalks.
Okay,
So there's no sidewalks, so it's not very,
okay.
That has been an item that the council has, and the city as a whole has been, it's been coming up quite often now for that very reason. So, and we have started to address it.
okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Any further discussion? No? Joy, Sarah, as long as you're here? No? Call the question? It's been called, yeah. If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We'll send this off to council. Thank you.
I move we adjourn.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Unless we aren't ready to adjourn.
Let me cruise over here. I'm not as young. My eyes don't work as good as they used to. I do have an item for next agenda. I would like us to review our ordinance on all-terrain four-wheel vehicles and golf carts for the city of Hudson.
For use on public
Yeah.
roadways.
Yep.
Okay.
Because it seems to be a confusion between North Hudson and Hudson dealing
I would
with,
like to do that too.
so,
There's getting to be more of a prevalence of that on the road.
yep. Just coming down here now, I saw one which reminded me, so. All right, there was a motion to adjourn. We stand adjourned. Thank you.